So we're going to continue our talk about hope and, its evil twin, maybe, suffering, with talking about some passages from the New Testament, especially the book of Acts, because we've been trying to always deal with something from Luke and Acts. So if one were to look at Acts chapter 26, verses 6 to 8, or then later Acts chapter 28, verse 20. In both of these passages, the issue of hope and St. Paul's hope comes up. But it's interesting that in this sequence where Paul is on trial, he stands before Herod Agrippa, who is a regional king there in Palestine, before Felix and then Festus, who are Roman governors, and then Paul's appeal to go to Rome to make his case before the emperor, which he can do because he's a Roman citizen. When Paul talks about hope, it's in the context of the Jewish hope, and the Jewish hope, as Paul interprets it, and this is because he's a Pharisee mainly, or that's his group, that's his. It's not a tribe, but that's his political and his theological group coming out of Judaism in the first century. This hope for the resurrection. So hope for St. Paul typically is resurrection hope. And that resurrection hope has both a first fruits, again, Old Testament language, with Jesus, and then the lasting or final or second fruits, you might say, with those who are resurrected later. So for Paul, hope has to do with resurrection. It is not about the kind of hope that Green addresses in her text. So whether you're talking about Acts 26, 6 to 8, or whether you're talking about 28, 20, for Paul, the hope there is a theological kind of hope. It's a hope for the resurrection, and hope in and belief in the resurrection of Jesus, and then a hope in and belief in the resurrection of Christians later. So one of the questions that I ask in the threaded discussion is this one: is hope dangerous? Is it dangerous to me? Is it dangerous to you? Is it dangerous for caregivers? Is it dangerous for other serving professions? And I guess really until thinking through and working on this class, I hadn't thought about hope as a dangerous kind of thing, whether you're talking about moral distress or disappointment or whatever. And sometimes there are things that are dangerous that are actually good. They're just they put us on the front line. They put us at a place of vulnerability. And maybe hope does that. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does. Maybe hope puts us in a position where we've got everything out on the line, or where because we've dared to hope, because we've dared to believe in something that is beyond belief, that it's easy for us to and perhaps more likely for us to be disappointed. So when it comes to Christian hope has not always been, even though we have this Green article, it's not always been about everything being okay in this life. It's been about that final state, knowing that we will all cross that bridge, right? From this world's existence into another world's existence. And so how does one think about hope in that respect as being safe or dangerous? So I wanted to bring that up. I think it's a good place for us to stop this video, and we'll come back and talk a little bit about Roxburgh's article as we're kind of weaving together these, these twins of suffering and hope.